Hello, LEGO Lovelies. This is Elle, and this is a LEGO Super Mario set review. This is the Adventures with Mario or Super Mario Starter set number 71360. It has about 230 pieces, and let's get into these parts. So, first of all, I did do a boxer review kind of talk about thing, just my initial thoughts. This is literally only going to be the parts. This is a $60 set, so let's see if we have a lot of neat parts in here. So first up, as you can see, I have a selection of colors. I didn't do this by bag because I don't have instructions to build the set, but that's a different video. So let's get into it. First of all, let's go to our biggest, most interesting piece. So this is the pipe piece. And for the most part on the top, you can see there is nothing really going on. It's kind of square with circular edges. You can fit a 4x4 brick in here, and then they can connect on here. I did play around with a little bit. Otherwise, you can put this on a plate. So, simple piece. I can see it being used for numerous different things. I mean, you could actually use it for a pipe. You can use it for a giant figure's hat, maybe. But you can use it for maybe engine thrusters, etc. It has uses. I'm wondering if they'll ever be recoloring this and putting it in regular LEGO sets. Not 100% sure, because it doesn't have too specific of stuff, but it's a very interesting large piece. Then let's go on to the other kind of interesting large piece. The kind of double plate height, weird plates with rounded corners. So this is the biggest one as far as I know. And as you can see, it doesn't fully have studs over the covers. You could put a sticker there. I don't think you could put a sticker here. Not exactly sure why they decided not to throw some studs in there. Maybe just to save some money, or it just wasn't relevant. Otherwise, you can see it's kind of 2 plates thick, and you have 2 stud space there to put the plates under it, is how it was designed. Otherwise, the bottoms kind of look like that. Exactly, so easy to use. Some uses I've thought of are like trees, just using it for green type grassland, building up some stuff pretty easily. In theory, you could use this kind of like Duplo blocks or bigger bricks to build up terrain and mocks and stuff. I've also thought about using them for trees and just different kind of stuff. I'm sure they'll have some uses because it will work nicely. And you get a lot of those. This is the medium-sized one. Very similar in concept, room for a 4x4 sticker, or a 2x2 sticker, I should say. Kind of not as many studs on the edge of this one. And then on the bottom here, you can see that each corner has some stud connections. And then we have the spaces there. Then we have quite a lot of these pieces here. This is the smallest one. I don't think they get any smaller because it'd be pretty difficult to. Again, space in the middle for that sticker. And they only really have one side stud connection, which, you know, makes sense. And we got quite a few of those, kind of a larger type part. And then I won't really go over looking at them again, but we get one of each in blue of those same type of pieces. Also in blue, we get one of these, which I don't think I've seen in blue before. This kind of 1x1, 2 height bracket brick. We also get this, which is a nice, clear, transparent type piece to use to get stuff to make it look like it's in the air, etc. We do get 2 clear windows, not too special there. Lots of blue plates here, as you can see, or larger ones, maybe not a lot. Same in the green area. We have some green plates, which they're a different color than this, which is a little unfortunate, but I guess you can't have everything. We got some tiles in various greens. Don't think anything too special. We have some green slopes, which I don't see too often. We have some lime pieces, which aren't too special. We do have 2 headlight bricks here in that lime green, which are kind of nice. We do have a very small amount of greenery there. And then in gray, which we have a weird selection of parts, we got some bricks, not too many bricks in these type of sets. We do have these like 1x2x2 type bricks. We do get one light gray hose part, which is kind of different. Kind of just clips onto bars, etc. We got some slopes. We got this Technic flap type part. Pretty much some common Technic plates and some tiles here, nice for making your rock pathways and stuff. But the most interesting piece in here, and we got two of them, is this super bracket brick, which I'll call it. So you got brackets on almost all the sides. You can see you got front, sides, and top, and then this goes into an anti-stud, and then the back is flat. And so you can put these together and make a really nice little square build all over it. I believe they use that for lots of figures in this line. In black, we have kind of the under part, which I actually kind of like, and is a little bit rare. I don't see it too much, but it has that Technic pin connection. And we have our swivel base here, and we got some kind of common yellow parts. We do have flowers in both the pink and the yellow, and those are bar connections, or you can put them in bar holes or accessories, and some yellow parts. So nothing very special, I would say. These are probably the most unique pieces we're getting in Lego Mario along with this. This I think you can only get in this set. I'm not 100% sure. So there are some larger pieces in here, quite large actually, because these are almost bricks, you could say. Kind of weird. It's hard to say, but pretty nice to see a different piece. I'm not sure how we'll see it get used, but let's go and take a look at some of the other colors we got here. All right, here we got our second batch. So this, as you can see, has different colors. A lot of brown, some red, and some white. So first of all, we got more of these type of parts in a couple different colors. We got them in this medium size and the medium nougat type color, dark orange, whatever you want to call it. Then we got this small one. And then we have these bricks in this color, which I don't think I've seen, or at least haven't seen very often. And they do give us 4 here. And even more incredibly rare is this dark orange, or whatever you want to call this color. I still think it's more of a brown than an orange, but this 1x2x3 type brick, and you get 8 of them. So nice to get some variety of different browns and stuff. Also in that color, we get 4 of the kind of brick type detailed 1x2s. As you can see, 4 back here. Nice to get those. We also get one of these pieces, which I think is a really nice piece. You can put an axle all the way through, and it has these little notches in there all the way around. Otherwise, it's a 2x2 brick. So also we get a pile of this color of 1x2 brick. Just, I mean, it looks like there's probably about 15-ish. Also with about the same amount, the dark tan cheese wedge. Actually, it's probably more like 20, which is probably one of the more common smaller pieces in here. We also get 2 of these corner bracket bricks in tan, as you can see, and then they have holes in there. Got some cylinders in a different color, nice to see. We got some of this dark orange color in some slopes and some tiles here. Nice to see more variety of color and different things. We have this piece, which I find very interesting. This little tan pyramid, like 1x1 tile. You can use that for micro builds of roofs and just detailing out, making it spiky, and if it can focus, it's nice. Yeah, so there's 3 of those in there. I'm sure one's an extra. We also got some of these kind of quarter circles in tan. Just 3 of them there. Some nice dark brown plates, one really long, but again, not a whole lot of those. And then we'd also have these in red. Interesting coloring of that red. It's supposed to be the lava, but I don't know how I feel about that. A really nice selection of piece in here is the dark red brick type color. Looks very much like brick, actually. But you get quite a bit of them in here. It looks like we get 8 of them, which is a pretty good number. We also get some longer red plates. We also get this in dark red, which I don't think I've seen very often. It's kind of the circular tile with the hole in the middle. And we also get some of these inverted, rounded kind of tiles for those in white. We get one of these bracket type bricks in white, which I don't see too often. Typically don't see those too often in general. Some white plates, not too special. One of these in white, the smallest one of the Super Mario platforms, we'll call it. And then 3 of the Unikitty Cloud pieces in white, which is probably not too rare because it was in Unikitty, and I think they're using it in some other stuff too, but just kind of a nice, interesting little piece. I don't know how we can, there we go. You can kind of put them together to make like a weird type of cloud look to them. Kind of interesting. Pretty cool. Nice to put on the side of something. Maybe put a tile on there and you can have a weird face. I think they did that with Trolls, actually. But this is our second batch, and there's one more batch to go, which is kind of the printed and really interesting pieces. So let's take a look at that, and then I'll give my overall thoughts on it. All right, here we have our last batch, which are our printed parts and some of our weird things. So first up are scannable, printed, but not printed, stickered tiles. I don't know of any uses for these out of the game, as I drop one, kind of fitting. They all similarly look like this. They have something in a corner that identifies what they are, which I'm assuming for the game is a little bit sensible, so you know what the tiles represent, besides having to scan them all or something. And I did kind of play around with trying to peel them off. I didn't spend a lot of time, admittedly, and I was getting no leverage on getting them off. So these pieces might just be, unfortunately, useless. If you have a use for them, drop it in the comments. I have not thought of any of them. Since they're tiles, you can't really cover them up. There's a different selection of them. As you can see, we got a Goomba here. We got one that says start and a pipe. And then one that says goal. Yeah, goal, and has a Bowser kind of look to it, and a question mark, and this swirl thing, which this is an interesting kind of piece too, because it is a completely flat, almost like a tile of one of those parts. I think there's some that do have no scan thing on it. I'm not 100% sure. And here we have a white one with a scan thing and a cloud. Admittedly, with like one like this, you could cover it up so that wouldn't even be relevant. Otherwise, the other parts. So we have this shell part, which I believe they also have in red and a dark blue, I think. And this is a very interesting, nice kind of detailed part. First of all, as you can see, it's kind of dual molded. You can put a 4x4 piece up there of any sort. And then underneath, you can put a 4x4 or more. And then this, I believe, is one plate down. So I don't have any here. So you can do this, and you can see, yep, it's exactly one plate down there. So you can also obviously do that, and you can see there's space there. You would need to put something else in here to have it connect there. That doesn't quite work. Yeah, so an interesting kind of turtle shell piece. I mean, I would imagine you could even use it for a plant or some strange rock formation. I'm sure people will find uses for this. It's an interesting texture. The hole in the middle does allow a Technic pin to go in there. So if you want to do crazy things like this, you can do that. Maybe you have 2 of them, make Shell Guy or something. But otherwise, you can use that to pop tiles and stuff off the top. It just makes it easier, which is pretty nice. So you get one of those in here, which is kind of an interesting type part. You also get these arms, which are Technic pin arms, and then otherwise they clip. Now you don't have any extra spinning or anything like that. It's just kind of a simple arm. This is kind of nice because you can kind of use it to make kind of your custom type characters. Perhaps I would have preferred the ones that were on the Minions better. Which actually I have one here. You can see it also kind of Technic pins in, and it actually has a wrist, but it is quite smaller. So I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that. I guess making these is a lot more simpler. You get 2 of those for 1 character. You also get the 2 leg pieces. So this is the 2x3 one, and you can see there's kind of little feetsies or foots on there. Otherwise, it just kind of plants some bricks or plates or whatever you build onto it. Kind of a nice thing where you can make some interesting creatures. And then we have the 2x2 variant in brown, which I think is one that I like the most. Just a kind of simple thing. You do have a Technic axle hole. This one does not, so that could be something weird or interesting. And you can also put bars in the studs if you so choose. 1 of each of those. Now we have some printed bricks here. We have some eyebrows or eyes. Kind of an interesting print that I could see people using for some different creative little arty things. We also have a question block, kind of interesting. It does have the question on 2 different sides, but only on 2 different sides, not all of them. We have the mouth, which continues on with the brick. Kind of an interesting way that this is a brick and this is a tile. This is also an interesting shape for a tile, which I don't think I've really seen. It's kind of a rounded 4x4 is about all I could say it, but you got a nice happy smile on there. Then we have a very angry Goomba on a 2x2 type tile. Interesting little print, not too bad, definitely represents the character. We have this Bowser type flag, which is black, and we just have that printed on there, and you got 2 clip positions there. Then we have this weird one, which I don't know what it is. It looks like a coloring book mouth. So not 100% sure where that is on the set, but it looks kind of really weird. So yeah, that's pretty much everything but Mario. So here we have his pants. And I did play around with this. You can get about 2 studs worth that you can build up and into him. Otherwise, he kind of has 3 stud connections. So if you wanted to build this into something else, there are some possibilities. You also have 2 studs here. However, nothing on the back at all. So kind of weird. Maybe you could throw a minion in there and he's got bigger pants. That looks kind of interesting and fitting. And then he's got his hat. And I brought a bunch of figures here to put the hat on them to see how it looks. Otherwise, it's basically a 2x2 connection with a little Mario symbol on there and kind of just obviously different weird shapes and angles on it. But you can put it on Trolls figures if you want. Actually kind of fits on them, not too bad. This is probably not the best figure for it, but if maybe your Trolls are going to be Super Mario guys, you can put it on a mini doll and it looks insanely too big. But maybe you can use this as kind of like some fan walking around that likes Mario and has just an oversized hat. Also, you can put it on a Porg if you need a Mario Porg. Just kind of interesting little looks you can put on it. And then if you put it on a minion, from certain angles it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, kind of weird type part. It actually fits the best on Trolls, but also probably doesn't work the best. And you can put it on a minifigure and it will look like this. Kind of interesting. I would have almost liked it if it was like studded in a little bit so that we could have it kind of lower on their head. But so let's look at the little casket that has Mario, or what remains of Mario that's in this casket. First up, I had to say when I first pulled this guy out and looked at him, he's a lot smaller than I thought he was. I mean, I don't know how big your hands are, but like you can see a 4x4. He's about 2 4x4s high. He obviously doesn't have pants because his legs are mechanical. So his lower body is a robot. He's got ear holes, which you can put a tile on so he can't hear anymore. Otherwise, he's dark because the LCD screens are not active. So the LCD screens are here, 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 here. So he's got mouth, chest, eye. And then, like I said, stud-wise, he doesn't have a whole lot. He's got space for batteries in here, which I did not realize when I picked up. They are not included. And sound can come out here. And he's got a 4x4 stud up there, so maybe you want a Mario to be a bad guy, and you can jump on him and do that stuff. Otherwise, his pants just slide on as far as I know. And he has pants now. And then you can give him a hat. And obviously he has different accessories at etc. There's a whole bunch to him. His arms are Technic pins, kind of, but not. Pop them out and you can see that it's not. It's actually smaller than a Technic pin, I believe. Yep. So, yep. Not a fan of that. So this won't, I mean, this might go on a minifigure, which would be ridiculous. But yeah, so, I mean, he can hold clips as far as I know, in his gigantic hands, and they can move around and spin around if you want. Yep, that's your Mario. Yeah, so let's wrap this video up. So, parts-wise, initially I would think that just if you looked at the numbers and looked at the parts, you would have thought this was awful, because the price per piece is how some people look at things. But I will say that there are a lot of those platforms, and if those platforms have use, those are actually well worth it, because those are larger pieces. And if you want to look at them like they're 4x4 double plate, 2 plates high, they have value there. There's also some other bricks that are really new and very unique and good. This probably has kind of the worst that I've seen for some of the sets prints-wise. I can't count these pieces as valuable until I start seeing good uses for them. They have no real value. I don't know if people are going to be buying these online. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine that people are going to be necessarily army building game figures. I can see people army building like figures, but not for the game. So like this would have value because you're like, I want an army of Goombas, but you know, you don't necessarily need the game-based tile. Same thing with these. I can see uses for some of those. The legs I'm really excited about, because I'm sure that like with this guy, you can pop him on there and make a horrifically weird creature, but it's something you can do. I think you could probably put minifigures on there too. Again, will make them look horrifically weird. I guess if you build it up, they could be like little mini baby centaurs or something. I don't know, but they have some versatility and use to outside of Mario, which is pretty nice. I like these shells, even though they are pretty specific, but I think they're pretty neat and they can be useful. So overall, I have to say that my initial thoughts on Lego Mario may not be the best, and I'll get into that a little bit more when I review the set. But parts-wise, I'm not too unhappy as I thought I might be. There's a good amount of parts in there. Unfortunately, like I said, there's a lot of large parts, a lot of the new parts, plates. There's not a lot of 1x1 parts or smaller parts, and some of the parts are pretty unique. I'm happy to get a lot of the green, and I'm happy to get a lot of those brown parts. The other colors I'm not overly happy with. This Mario isn't going to be more than a kind of see what it is like, see what it does, and then it's useless to me, except if I make, well, I guess you could make it for like a Nintendo store if you had one in your city. You could have it as a sign, or maybe there's some guy that has to wear a suit to advertise Mario. If you're into Mario, it could be a display piece for you. But it's also not a good display piece because, as you can see, Mario is dead inside. So as a display piece, it is not very good. Yeah. So I will say that after going through the parts, fully going through the parts, I have a little bit more happiness in getting this set. But I'm still kind of detracted from all the stuff that I've seen and how it works and stuff. But, well, that's my parts review for this set. I'm going to try and find a way that I can build the set, since, oh yeah, it did not come with instructions, and the instructions it did come with are not well, okay, the paper it came with is not very clear on anything. Very unfortunate. I'll probably look at that more in the review. But otherwise, like I said, parts-wise, this isn't as bad of a set as I thought it was going to be. For $60, it might be kind of bad, but it's not as bad as I thought it was, is kind of how I'll see. So I've been talking really long on this, but admittedly is a very new and interesting thing with some interesting parts. There's a lot of new parts. I can't argue that in here. So if you've watched this far, I appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments if you've watched this far, because obviously you know my opinion. I want to hear yours. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.